Hello, welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Podcast. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard. That's L-E-N-A-R-D. It looks French. It's not. It's Leonard without an O. Thank you for tuning in. As Graham Norton used to say on his show, let's get on with the show! Welcome to Deja Vu Week. No, that's not what it is. But kind of, sort of. Welcome to Books/Authors Week, May 2026. Just coming out of April 2026, Books/Authors Week, and October Books/Authors Weeks of October 2025. So yes, you guessed it. It's all about cucumbers and tomatoes and deli shopping. Yep. Books. Let's get on a guest. Joining me today will be Angel Giacomo. Good thing I cleared it up before we started, because I would have pronounced it Giacomo, because Giacomo, but Giacomo, you said, is the pronunciation. And some full disclosure, she's a fellow author. She left a nice review for my Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You book. And further full disclosure, I used part of that review as well as somebody else's in my How to Write a Book and Get It Published. You can check that out for the whys and the wherefores that I did that. But anyway, I enjoy one of her series, left her good reviews in the, I'm going to screw up my own joke. It's a joke, right?
All right.
Yeah. What was I? Oh, I could either go with Jackass or Jack Off. The Jack Off MacKenzie Chronicles. That would be the X-rated version, right?
That would be the X-rated version, yes.
MacKenzie. It's the Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles. Welcome to the show, Angel.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and for the record, for the benefit of the transcript, she's laughing. We gotta lighten up.
Yes, I'm laughing.
Just a joke, just some fun. But indeed, at any rate, we've never met IRL, but I kind of feel like I know you since I've read some of your books, and
yes,
we've Instagrammed a bit together and whatnot. So we've come. Well, it always happens. I hit record and I can't talk. But we've come across each other online several times. And when I saw you pop up again the other day, I thought to myself, well, why haven't I had you on my show yet? I like your stuff. So before we get into the genesis of that series or anything like that, where were you born and raised? Where are you now? Significant places you've been between?
I am a native Oklahoman. I was born in a small town in McAlester, Oklahoma, which is about 90 miles south of McAlester. In fact, there's a large Italian enclave down in McAlester. So if you want good Italian restaurants, unpaid
gnocchi, some good gnocchi.
Go to Krebs.
Yeah, is that Chico barking?
No, that would be Charlie.
Oh, that's Charlie. Okay, she's got a couple fur babies there. Chico was trying to get in the video shot before we started record. So, yeah, the way my OCD brain works. Now I'm going to have the stupid Oklahoma, song. However that goes from the play. There's Chico. For those viewing behind the scenes video, there's Chico. Any rate, so indeed, what was the genesis of the Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles? And I feel I know a little because we've conversed a little back and forth after I started reading them and gave you reviews, and we come to know we're fellow authors. But for the benefit of the audience,
hold on a second. Come on, over here. There you go.
Uh-oh. So now we got Chico and Charlie on the
No,
couch.
Chico and Cass. Charlie's in the cage, and they're not going to be quiet.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. We'll be all right.
Now, PTSD. I wrote a character that had a lot of trauma, and he's he's in the United States Army, West Point graduate, and he was a POW at one time, and had a lot of trauma, and that basically the trilogy that I wrote followed him through that, and then through all the way through to when he finally gets married, and he did a lot of covert operations and things like that for the government. So, and which added to his trauma. So I based it on several people that I know. My step uncle was a POW in Vietnam. He was in the Air Force at the time, but he was a POW. I have a number of friends that served him, including a neighbor across the street. So that's kind of where my inspiration came from.
Mm-hmm. So you said trilogy. I thought there were more. Does he also appear in other books?
Yeah, what I did is I wrote a trilogy series, which is him, and then I went and took all the characters around him and wrote how they met him, how he came into contact with them through the series. So I did standalone books about each character as they came into play.
That makes sense, and that's why I was thinking it was much larger than a trilogy.
It's a much larger series. That series is a much larger series. I've kind of finished that series and started a new one. I don't know if you saw that one or not yet, but yeah, those are all standalone books based on separate characters.
Interesting. Kind of like my Life and Living series. The Terror Strikes book that you read, I had been on a million interviews saying it's not about death and destruction, it's about life and living. And one day while I'm sitting on the couch, the light bulb goes on. Duh, let's do a Life and Living series. So yeah, I've got the 5th one in that series going to come out in May of 2026 now. All indeed, like you're saying, the other books, different standalone books, different primary characters, although I do name drop names from the other books, but you don't have to read them in order. You don't have to read them collectively. Any one alone tells its own story. So it sounds like you did the same there.
So yeah, I did. In fact, one of those standalone books, it was called the Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles Golden Feather. I entered it into the
that sounds like another X-rated one.
No, it's based on the Native American tradition of giving an eagle feather.
That's
what that's where the title comes from.
That makes perfect sense now.
That's where the title comes from, because the character is called, his name is Dakota Blackwater. He's Osage Indian, and I live in an area where the Osage Nation is, and that he joins the Army. His father starts to give him an eagle feather for his high school graduation. He wants him to join his little oil company, and Dakota says, no, I don't want to be, work on an oil rig. And so he goes off and joins the Army, and it's because his father takes the feather back. That's how the book opens. And then it follows him through his Army career. And in the very end, when he meets Jackson in the very last chapter, he gets a box back from Jackson hands him a box from his father. He gets Mrs. Mail call, and it's that feather. So,
well, the way my OCD brain works, I made the X joke. So now I'm like, it's not a tick. Has nothing to do with tickle videos.
Yeah, no.
My audience knows my brain just goes stupid places, and I can't pass on the jokes.
But it wound up as a semi-finalist in the Historical Fiction Book Awards Book of the Year award. It was a semi-finalist in December. That particular book. So I was very happy with it. I wish it would have got finalist or actually won Book of the Year, but being a semi-finalist was good. They gave it a 5 rating and highly recommended and all that good. So it did real good. So I was really happy with that.
Yeah, some of your other books also were up for awards too, were they not?
Were.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead and talk about that.
Well, both In the Eye of the Storm, Peace at a Cost, and
I think I read both those.
Duty, Honor, and Courage all wound up in getting third places in the Book Fest awards. So they've all been several of those books have received awards in different book contests. So.
I know, like, actors and actresses always say, "Oh, it's an honor to be nominated." But I mean, the number of books that come out in a year. I mean, compared to the number of movies that show up at a theater in a year. So the pool of movies to be nominated from is a much smaller pond than the lake or the ocean body of books. So indeed, to just be nominated is truly a feat out of that large pool.
Yeah, I started a second series, and it's called the Shadowland series. Different character set, completely different deal. You ought to take a look at it. Where I make the great nephew of Theodore Roosevelt is the main character.
Bully
by Teddy. Bully, yeah, Bully. I'm I've learned quite a bit about TR, but he's the great nephew and Army West Point graduate. You can see a theme here with what I write about, but special forces, and goes through his career until he goes into covert operations. I mean, and goes into Europe and spends a decade in Europe with his two teammates and where they're stopping nuclear, fission materials from crossing borders, where they're stopping, hostage rescue, doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
The book I just published in February, and I sent it to the Fiction Book Company, is a little different. It's not a military thriller. It came from an idea. The idea came from a neighbor. She asked me something that kind of tripped me, thought, why don't I go this route? And what it was is she asked me if anybody had ever died in that house, because she had seen a ghost. And I said no right off the bat. I didn't even think. And then later I come home and I remembered, because I've been living in my house almost 30 years. And there was a couple there when I moved in, and he was a truck driver, and he died of cancer about 2006. And I didn't even remember it until later. So when she said that, I'm like, wait a minute. there really was somebody that died now. So what I did was, Teddy's now teaching at West Point. He is got a son. He's married, and his mother had just died, and he finally is where he's quiet enough to listen, and TR comes to him. His great uncle comes and starts talking to him, and he doesn't believe it at first. He's a big skeptic. He's a big skeptic, because his thought was, I need to go see the doctor. I'm having a brain tumor or something. My PTSD from Vietnam is getting me. Eventually, he gets convinced, and it goes all the way through. The way it starts out is, in 2001, Clinton presented the Medal of Honor to Roosevelt's family because he was nominated at the Battle of San Juan Heights, or people know it as San Juan Hill, in 1898. Well, it wasn't given out until 2001. So I changed the person that did it. I know exactly who actually received it. It was a grandson of Theodore Roosevelt, Tweed Roosevelt. But I had Teddy get it because he's got the Medal of Honor, so it's a symmetry kind of thing. So, and then it goes through it. What this is it's not a thriller. It's a father-son growing up book, and it's dual. It's Teddy and TR, and Teddy and his own son. And it goes all the way through the book. And the last chapter is Teddy donating his Medal of Honor to sit beside his great uncles. So I gave that to the Historical Fiction Book Company. They wrote a 4-page editorial review on it and gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
That's
so
nice.
they did a really nice review of it. So it tells me it's actually probably pretty good.
Yeah, well, as you're saying, notice a theme here. So if the time comes you need help and me to send in the Rangers and Delta Force to extract you, write a romance novel. So when I hear wink, wink, nod, nod, Angel's got a romance novel, I'll know it's time to send in the extraction team.
Yes, because I like historic military. That's what I write, military fiction. So even though I kind of dove off it a little bit into the, if you want to call it paranormal or fantasy or whatever it is, the theme is still there because it's still the same character, Teddy, and it's based out of West Point, where he's teaching at West Point. So the main emphasis of it is there's 3 places in the book: West Point, Sagamore Hill, and the Birthplace Museum in New York City.
There's still all that interconnectivity there.
Interconnectivity with the military, yes. Yes, with the military, because he's an instructor, a military history instructor. So that it's still there, and people still call him Colonel. So,
how many books total do you have out now? Do you know offhand? I know I'm releasing in May a short story on Kindle ebook exclusive. I know it's my 5th in my Life and Living series, and somebody asked me, and I'm like, it's either my 12th or my 13th. I've kind of lost track. You have more than I do.
19, I think.
19?
19.
In that area, yeah.
Yeah. One's a cookbook. Actually, one's a cookbook.
Oh, and they didn't send the military extraction team over that one, huh?
It's a family cookbook. What it was we had a family reunion about 20 years ago, and they put out this little PDF book of family recipes. And it was copies of the actual written recipes of my Italian, great grandparents and grandmothers and great grandmothers. So what I did was I just took that, put some of my own recipes in it, and put it all together in a cookbook. So Oklahoma meets Italy, thing.
I like that. I mean, normally, people think cookbooks are frivolous in a way, but I might have thought that 30, 40 years ago, but today I like, preserving culture and and how had those recipes changed or not changed over the years and whatnot. So I'd like to see all kinds of people releasing cookbooks. I like that. And it gives people a chance at variety. All right, let me try somebody else's recipe so I could change this up a bit. So this isn't recipes from the mess hall.
No.
That would have maintained the theme.
These are Italian grandmother recipes.
See, it would have been more fun than all potato recipes from the mess hall.
These are Italian grandmother recipes. These are not. So,
and for the benefit of the transcript, we're laughing. We're having fun. These are jokes. These are jokes. Most hosts don't think to do that, but I always try to remember that. Someone might read it in a transcript, and you got to describe things, right? We've lost that skill in a way. You and I haven't, of course. We're writing books. We understand we have to spell it all out to shape the scene and what's going on and the mood, whatnot. But someone who's been in radio their whole life and never written a book might not still grasp, although if they're from radio, TV personalities, let me say, right? Because TV, you're showing videos, you're on camera, people see you, but if they're reading something, if you've never written something, they may not think to know, well, someone could be reading this in a transcript.
Maybe I should give you the title of that book since I didn't do it.
Sure.
It's called Dual Convergence, A Witness to History. Hang on just a second.
Okay, well, we can mostly see it, as usually happens when someone holds a book on screen. A lot of time there's glare, and we are
Yeah, and
getting some glare,
it's
but
getting the glare off the light.
we can
Yeah.
mostly make it out. And again, for the 40-ish audio-only platforms of the transcript, she showed her book.
Yeah.
That's why you should watch my show on the video. And of course, I'll cut out all the dead air parts. So that's something else you don't want either on video or audio, dead air.
It's called Witness to History because he does get some of TR. TR gives him the gift and the burden of some of his memories. So he sees San Juan Hill, or actually it's not San Juan Hill. People think San Juan Hill. It's Kettle Hill. Kettle Hill. Because
near
it was not,
there.
Yeah. It was the Battle of San Juan Heights because it was a series of elevations. People think San Juan Hill. It's San Juan Heights, as there's a series of elevations, and the hill that the famous charge was on Kettle Hill. And then they moved up to Settlement Hill. So,
again, my OCD brain and jokes. There's a pot calling the kettle black there somewhere. Joke.
Well, would you like to know why it's called Kettle Hill?
Okay, sure. Did I stumble onto something?
You stumbled onto something here. The primary export for Cuba was sugar. And what they did was they took sugarcane juice, boiled it down in large cast iron kettles. At the top, Kettle Hill did not have a name when that happened. At the top of that hill was a cast iron kettle. And every time one of the crag rounds hit it, it rang like a bell. That is how Kettle Hill got its name. So yes, you did hit upon something.
Yeah. That's just the way this weird show goes at times. You never know. An oddball joke can lead to something educational. Have you got any other weird name stories of battles?
Not right now. I am working on a follow-up book to that one. So, and it's Teddy watches the Rough Riders, the movie The Rough Riders with Tom Berenger, came out in 97. Okay. Let's just say it's not very historically accurate. So the book is based on that. Because that's the first chapter is Teddy watching the movie and critiquing the literally crap out of it.
Yeah. It's almost like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. They bring Abraham Lincoln into the future. So Teddy sees a movie about the past and gets to address the inconsistencies.
Historical inaccuracies.
There you go. That's the better term. That's interesting. So we've got a ghost in one, and we kind of got a time traveler in another. So
he's not a time traveler. He's watching the movie. The ghost is actually in the book. The ghost is in the manuscript, hanging around a little bit. Not as much as in the other one, but it's him. He decides to write a book about the battle, the real battle, and some of the obstructions that happen in his path, like his name. I guess I have him in one chapter where he writes a query letter to sell to get a publisher. His name is Theodore Roosevelt IV. So, and he sends in the query letter. Can you guess what happens to him? They close the door in his face, thinking he's trying to play off the name, or it's a unfortunate pen name, or his unfortunate nom de guerre.
Yeah.
So he has to do a little covert operations tradecraft to get his foot in the door.
Yeah, they kind of thought, well, almost a bit of stolen valor with the name potentially. Yeah. Yes.
And he tells them exactly who he is. He writes on there, he tells them he's a tenured professor of military history at West Point, and they don't even make the phone call.
Right. I mean, it should be easily verified and confirmable, but yeah, a lot of times
they see the name and they go. So it shows a few of his misadventures, and then when he finally writes the book, he winds up with the historians telling him he's too close to the subject, and
that can be true at times.
Why is he, that, and where did you get your information, and where he gets pushback. So that's what the manuscript is that I'm working on right now.
All right. So, and have you got a tentative release time frame
for that one? Probably May.
Okay. So soon.
May. So soon.
Around the corner, then we may both be dropping books at the same time then.
Yeah. And then I've got another manuscript working that goes back in time for him, back to his cover-up. In fact, it goes back to the time where he tells his class in that book where he walked the San Juan Heights, he walked Kettle Hill, and this is actually where he actually does it on a mission. So I've got 2 manuscripts working. So that one's called Sub Rosa.
Okay, the OCD brain again, and the jokes can't pass, right?
Yeah, okay.
But that's a whole different kettle of fish.
It is a whole different kettle of fish. It is. I
just can't resist, no matter how stupid the pun. Oh, anyway, it was fun, and time's flown by already pretty quick. I try to do shorter shows at today's Twitter, TikTok attention span. And the old adage, leave them wanting more. Reel them in a bit, and then if you got the fish on the hook, then they'll go and look for more. So thank you, Angel Giacomo, spelled Giacomo.
Right. Well, my mom, they used to slaughter that for my mother. It was they would call her Geronimo.
That came into my head too, and I didn't make the joke. That makes perfect sense. You do you have a website?
Yeah, it's the Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles. It's on GoDaddy.
Okay, Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles.com.
Let me send it to you. It would. Well, hold on. I might be able to get it up here.
I'll cut this part out.
Okay, it's the Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles is it Jackson MacKenzie Chronicles, all one word, .GoDaddySites.com.
Oh, wow, that's a long name. GoDaddy Sites.com. Okay, that'll be a long one. All right. Thanks for stopping by. It was a lot of fun having you.
All right. Thank you.
And give our love to the fur babies.
Okay. Well, he's talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't hear him. But
okay.
There now. That
there
one I heard. I heard
right.
that. Yipe. Have a good one. Take care.
All right, you too. All right. Bye-bye.
Sunrise paints the barracks gray. Another dawn, another day. Boots on ground, miles away. We just hope and we just pray. Letters sent and not received. Hearts on sleeves, truly believed. Wearing red so they're not alone. Till every hero's coming home. Red Friday, every week. Red Friday, silent speak. Friday for the brave. Red Friday, souls to save. Remember everyone deployed. In every heart, in every glass, teachers in the hallway, letting the kids ask. Mama at the mailbox, praying for good news. Steam on the kitchen window, her eyes shining through. It's Red Friday, I remember everyone deployed. Heartbeat, filling up a silent void. From the cul-de-sac to the convoy, from this small town to the sand. Red Friday, I wear you on my hands. I can't lift your rucksack, but I can lift your name. I can't walk your footsteps, but I can share the weight. So I'll stand here in Scarlet, tell you I'll come home. You are not forgotten, you're never alone. It's Red Friday, I remember everyone deployed. Heartbeat, filling up a silent void. From the cul-de-sac to the convoy, from this small town to the sand. Red Friday, I wear you on my hands. I wear red till you're back on this land. Red Friday. I remember where you stand.
Your letters mean everything out here.
We wear red every Friday for you.
It keeps us strong.
We remember everyone.
Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help. Thank you for having tuned into another Constitutionalist Podcast show. I really appreciate that you stopped by. Again, please like, share, subscribe. We need you to help spread the Constitutionalist movement. Thank you again. Take care. God bless. Love you all.